Hello there, Dave here again. So we are in the book of Isaiah, one of the first prophets in the Old Testament, beginning the greater of the prophets. You've got Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel. And it just means that they're the major prophets because there's more material that they wrote. The minor prophets have less material. That's the only reason why they're called major and minor. There's amazing verses, amazing passages in there to study that we can grab hold of and seek the Lord's word. So chapter 11, again, the branch, the root of Jesse, all talking about Jesus, where he was going to come from, how he'd be a son of David, branching out of that, and talking about the Messiah. There's a lot of questions about who the Messiah would be, what he would look like. Was he going to overthrow the kingdoms? They thought he was going to overthrow Rome, and every kingdom that whoever he's going to overthrow. They didn't realize that there would be one Messiah who would come and die for the people, and then resurrected, come back, and someday take the world and set up his kingdom. So he is coming back to do the second part of that, but they for a while believed that there was actually going to be two Messiahs, one that would die and one that would live to bring peace. So then you have chapter 12. I love chapter 12. Read Isaiah chapter 12 today. It's just great. Worshippers speaking about Jesus. My cat's over there knocking stuff off the counter. Anyway, resulting in the salvation of God. Chapter 13, the burden against Babylon, judgment coming against the city and people of Babylon, eventually being laid waste. It's interesting passages in there of prophecy. Chapter 14 starts talking about the king of Babylon and then switches gears to talking about Lucifer, the fallen angel, the one that would bring about just so much destruction and sin on the earth. And it talks about how he was the one that was in charge of the worship. He was in charge of the leading of worship, and then eventually he started enjoying being worshipped. He wanted to be the one that was the center, and Jesus said no. It's important to remember that all of the angels, including Lucifer and Gabriel and Michael, all of the angels are created beings by God. Jesus is not the brother of Satan or anything like that. Jesus is above all. He is all. He's the creator of all things. All things are held by him. Read the book of Colossians for more about that. And then chapter 15, the burden against Moab, talking about invasion of Moab, refugees fleeing. And then chapter 16 continues about that, talking about that sin, the lamb, Isaiah's word, Judah, the pain of the prophet, Isaiah's sorrow. All of the prophets, dealt with a lot of emotions. Obviously, sorrow of heart isn't the word that they had to bring to the people, especially when they were being rejected most of the time by the people. Chapter 17, Isaiah, reportedly was eventually sawn in half for his work, I believe was saying. Then Isaiah 17, may be wrong, I have to double check that. Burden against Syria and Israel, the prophecy of doom upon Syria and Israel. God will destroy the nations and bring his judgment. Chapter 18 concerning Ethiopia. Don't make alliances with Ethiopia. Ethiopians come and worship God. They will come to Mount Zion to worship. Then the burden against Egypt in chapter 19. God striking Egypt and telling them, again, not to make alliances with Egypt. Don't make promises to them. Don't try to make them your friend. Don't trust Egypt. That continues in chapter 20. Isaiah acts out signs. A lot of the prophets throughout, especially Ezekiel, acted out certain kinds of signs to show the people what God wanted them to learn. Because people learn from seeing things. They learn from pictures. They learn from stories. That's why it's such a common thing when you go to church, you hear your pastor tell stories, because people listen, and that's why they're entertained, but they also learn. Those lessons come from those things. And we'll get chapter 21 on in the next videos. But anyway, I just wanted to get those books. The book of Isaiah is amazing. I suggest you study it with some of our commentaries. And God bless. Hope you have a great day.